Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to ROWAN exPLORE. My name is Aiden Ray.
And I'm Jimmy Borgman. Thanks for watching today.
So, Jimmy, how are you liking it so far here at ROWAN?
So far, I like it here.
You also live on campus, right?
Yeah, last year I lived in Chestnut, and this year I was in Robo, which was 10 times better.
That's great. So you know the ins and outs of the campus.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, I'd say it's better to live on campus, in my opinion, but I don't think being a commuter is that bad.
You're right. We asked students how it is living on ROWAN's campus, and here's what everyone had to say. Roll the clip.
ROWAN choose to live on campus simply because it is more convenient to be able to reach classes and participate in on-campus activities. But some residence halls appear to be more popular than others.
Townhouses. I love townhouses. I have visited Edgewood, Whitney, many different places, but my experience living on Robo, it doesn't compare to townhouses.
I live on Holly Point right now, and I think it's a good dorm on campus because there's air conditioning, which not every dorm has.
But one thing all of these students share in common is that they are able to find their place at ROWAN by simply living close to all the scenery. But just like every college experience, living on campus has its downsides.
The cost of housing is very high, and I dislike that.
But it has its advantages as well, including being more involved with the ROWAN community.
I like the ability to the freedom to do whatever I want, in the sense that I can explore different clubs. I can go for a walk at like 1 a.m. and just hang out with friends.
And speaking of the on-campus community, those who do an outstanding job at creating a community within the residence halls are a group of people known as CAs, formerly known as RAs. These amazing individuals are full-time students who not only oversee the students in the residence halls and departments, they also assist with lockouts, plan programs to allow people to come together, and to serve as a resource for any students living on campus.
I like the community, basically. I came in and I got like 30 different other people that I was going to like share this experience with. And I've made some pretty good friendships here. So yeah, it makes the job worthwhile.
I would say my favorite thing about being a CA is being able to connect with people that I haven't met before and, kind of get to know some residents and make a huge impact on the ROWAN community as well.
However, this job is definitely not an easy one. On top of being students, CAs work very hard to ensure that the campus is safe and fun for all residents.
I would say, just because my workload is a lot, really, and, it's very time-consuming. It's very, a lot of it is out-of-the-box thinking. You have to really be quick on your feet, especially with its decision-making.
But aside from the challenges, being a CA is an overall fun and exciting job that comes with benefits such as free housing and your very own room.
Well, personally, I feel like this will get a lot of people's attention, which is that CAs get free housing and a free meal plan as well. We also get a stipend of $800 every semester, so that's about $50 every other week. It's also really great. It looks really good on resumes as well. It's a great way to, develop your creative abilities, your professionalism, and also social skills as well.
In addition to on-campus living, many students also choose to commute to ROWAN.
My favorite thing about commuting is definitely just the money I save. Housing at ROWAN is very expensive.
My favorite thing about commuting is probably getting to have all of the benefits that come with being at home. Like, I don't have to share a shower with people. I can have all my home-cooked meals. It ends up being a lot easier, in that sense.
And just like every experience, including being a commuter, has its disadvantages.
My least favorite thing about commuting is definitely just being away from the action. I always have to drive 15 minutes to get here and to see my friends, and while others, they're always here. They can always, on a single call, they can be there, but I always just feel disconnected from people.
The parking and traffic at ROWAN is terrible, and it also is it's really hard sometimes if you're really active in clubs and stuff on campus. I'm a pretty active member in the ROWAN television network, and I do stuff for Poetic Justice, and it gets to be a little bit inconvenient when I have to be driving back and forth to my house and then back to here.
Some students feel that commuting to Rowan is the easier option because of how close they live to campus.
I think it would be more convenient to live on campus. You know, I can wake up 15 minutes later to get to walk to classes. I can, you know, there's food right and robo, but at the end of the day, like, it's all about the money.
I think it depends what type of person you are. I think for me, I would never survive dorm life because I'm bougie and I need a lot of my own space and a lot of my own stuff, and those little tiny closets would not do it for me. But I think if you're a person who's good at, like, roughing it, like, you don't need, like, a lot of your own space, I think that dorm life is probably way more convenient.
Many people can also easily find their place at Rowan University and continue in their education without having to live on campus. So whether you choose to stay on campus or commute, it's going to be an exciting 4 years at Rowan University.
Welcome back, everyone. Next, we'll be moving into some interviews featuring different clubs on campus.
Hello again, everyone. First, I'd like to introduce our very first guest, the 2023-24 president of Rowan Television Network, Holden Karea Fisher.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on today.
You're very welcome. So first off, tell us a little bit about your role with the Rowan Television Network.
Sure. So, like I said, my name is Holden. I am for only a couple of days ago the president of Rowan Television Network RTN here at Rowan University. A lot of my responsibilities involve kind of just guiding the club with the various operations that we have, from making sure our executive board members, those who are elected to other positions in the club, have the information they need, the resources they need to effectively do their jobs. I don't like to think I manage them, but we all work together, and sometimes I am the one that has to kind of give out all that information. I do a lot of administrative stuff behind the scenes of the club. So filing some stuff with SGA, doing all kinds of like interaction stuff with making sure our members are happy and getting all the stuff they need to do what they want to do in the club, and just kind of being the face of the club, whether I want to or not. Sometimes, you know, I always have to make sure I can be there and be present for anyone who needs me, and also listen to any concerns people might have, and just try to have the club run as efficiently and nice as possible.
That's awesome. So I'm sure that everyone watching right now would love to know, what inspired you to join this club?
Oh my goodness, great question. I have always found production interesting. It started with audio when I was a kid. Like, I got my first audio console at 6 years old in kindergarten. And so I did like a lot of like audio and like theater stuff until I got to high school and found out that my high school had a TV studio program. From there, I found Rowan, and I got into the radio, TV, and film major here, and I've stuck with it for 4 years, and I've loved it. But my freshman year, I reached out to the president of RTN at the time, because I saw this club in ProfLink, and I'm like, you know what, that seems right up my alley. And just kept doing it. I won technical manager, got reelected that for a second year, and now president. It's really cool how it all kind of just naturally progressed over time, but I would not have wanted it any other way. I'm so happy with, you know, being at the end of the line here. I graduate in less than a week, and you know, no regrets.
Interesting. So how much experience would you say you have working with television, and when did you first start?
Ooh, okay. So my specialty with television production is a little bit different from most students who go through the RTF major here at Rowan. I do a lot of behind-the-scenes engineering, so that involves, you know, like speccing out equipment that you'll see in studios, getting live streams up and running, either from a technical perspective or from a design perspective, like, where does all this stuff go? What do you need? Or how do I configure this to go to YouTube, you know? Yeah, I can operate a camera. Sure, I can TD. Don't know if you want me to TD, but, you know, we all have to kind of do it all a little bit. That's what the major really wants you to be able to do. But my specialty definitely resides in the engineering component of it. And the second question was about What was it again? I'm sorry.
When did you first start?
Like at Rowan or just in general?
Television.
Cool. Yeah, that would have been 9th grade in high school when I got involved in my high school TV program. Early on, I realized I did not really like wanting to be on camera or even be a camera operator. I mean, you start out on the bottom of the ladder and you work your way up. But I got to help. I got to help install a new studio at my high school when I was 17 years old, which is really cool.
So I know you are graduating next week. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you have any plans of where you might be after graduation?
Yes, multiple plans. I work at Beasley Media Group. We've run about 6 radio stations out of Philadelphia in our Philadelphia market cluster. I also work freelance with the Philadelphia Phillies in the live video production domain or system called Fanavision, who your wonderful professor works at as well. And I also do a lot of stuff with freelance audio, freelance video, and radio system consulting. A lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us. Before we wrap up, I have a couple more questions for you. Firstly, what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue a leadership position within a student organization like RTN?
Get involved. From day one, get involved. Don't just show up and do what you want to, and do what you're told to do. If you're running a camera, learn how everything works. Learn how to interact with people in all kinds of situations, whether they're having a really good day and you need to tell them, tone it down a bit, or if they're not having a good day, try to bring them up. You really have to be a people person, and that is something I wasn't really as much of before, being in a leadership position like RTN president. But just take as much perspective as you can, because it's really important to be able to see a situation from all sides,
Wow, that all sounds like a blast, and I believe I speak for everyone here when I say that RTN sounds like an incredible club. I'd like to thank Holden for taking the time out of his busy schedule to join us today. Next up, we have Poetic Justice joining us, but in the meantime, let's bring it to Sebastian and see what types of music that students are listening to on campus.
Today, we're here asking people what they're listening to.
I'm listening to Return of the Mac by Mark Morris.
Thank you, sir.
One of These Nights by the Eagles.
Listening to Be Together Vanek remix by Major Lazer.
Yeah, I'm listening to Air by Air.
Pure Souls by Kanye West.
Sweatshirt by Jacob Sartorius. I was listening to Good Girl by Carrie Underwood.
High Life by Daft Punk.
And we are back, and we have another club to feature next. Let's say hello to the President of Poetic Justice.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure to have you here. First off, I'm just going to ask you to tell us a little about yourself.
So, hi, my name's Kiara Ajayi. I'm a law and justice major and creative writing minor here at ROWAN, and I'm the President of Poetic Justice.
Wow, Kiara. It sounds like you could do a lot already. What inspired you to start another club on campus?
Right, so writing is something that I've always loved to do, and during my senior year of high school, I got more into poetry, especially spoken word. And when I came to ROWAN, I was a very involved student, but I realized that there wasn't really quite a space for that on campus, so I decided to start one, and my goal in mind for it was just to create a space, like, in a community for poets to come together and to, like, grow as a person.
Very inspiring. So as you've mentioned, there are a lot of creative people and creative groups on campus. What makes Poetic Justice different from other clubs?
Yeah, so there are so many incredible creative clubs on campus, but one thing that differentiates Poetic Justice is that it focuses specifically on poetry and spoken word and kind of combines these things. And another thing is that we try to like work with a lot of other clubs and like bridge the gap between poetry and other forms of art. And lastly, one of the main goals of Poetic Justice is to empower people to like express themselves through the arts and through poetry and just to grow as an individual.
Gnarly. And I know you said that your club also has a lot of events. What has been your favorite event?
So in the past year, we've hosted so many events that I've loved, but my favorite one has to have been the Harlem Renaissance. So this was an event we had during February for Black History Month, and we called it the Harlem Renaissance, a celebration of Black art and culture. And we had so many incredible clubs co-sponsoring, and what we did was we just had different forms of artists come out to perform and display their art. We had singers, we had instrumentalists, we had hip-hop performers, and we also had visual artists showing their artwork. And it was just so incredible and empowering, and was really just like a reminder of everything that I do it for.
That sounds like an awesome experience. And looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for Poetic Justice in the coming year?
So my goal for the club is for it to become like a strong community on campus for different poets and forms of writers to just to grow as a person, to be able to share their work, and not only to have this experience in college, but for it to become a part of their lives and who they are as an individual.
That is incredible. Everyone, let's hear it for Poetic Justice. We're about to move into our final club interview today, right after this break.
Easy by Jason Aldean.
I'm listening to No Love Lost by LCD Sound System.
Yes, I'm listening to Pothole by Tyler, the Creator.
As It Was by Harry Styles.
Summertime by Fresh Prince of DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Do a podcast.
Oh, what podcast?
It's called Pardon My Take.
Bulletproof Love by Pierce the Veil.
Statement by 26AR.
Stay safe, Tiny Meat Gang.
No way. Thank you.
We have our final club of the day with us right now. Here is the president of Cinema Workshop, Parker Bennick.
Hello. Thank you for having me on the show.
Of course. Thank you for joining us today. Why don't you start telling us about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, my name is Parker. I come from Hightstown, New Jersey. Hightstown High School. I'm a radio, television, film major. I'm a junior, and my time at ROWAN has been awesome, and I'm very happy to be on the show.
Hello, Parker. I'm just curious about what got you more involved with Cinema Workshop?
It was mainly my sister. My sister graduated last year. She was the treasurer of Cinema Workshop. She got me involved. That would have been my sophomore year. Freshman year, I was in ROWAN Television Network, but I didn't join Cinema Workshop. And then sophomore year, my sister and some of her friends pressured me a little bit, got me into Cinema Workshop. I ended up on the e-board in the spring semester. And then past year, I've been the president, and it was awesome.
Well, it sure sounds like you've come a long way with the club. And what does Cinema Workshop mean to you?
Cinema Workshop means a lot to me just because it's such a great group of people, and especially being the president, having the opportunity to like produce projects for my friends, you know what I mean? Like projects that I know that my friends are passionate about, and then when you're when you're the president, or if you're just on the e-board, you actually have the power to make your friends' visions a reality. So getting to do that for my peers has been awesome. It's been really great just to see like not what other people can do for the club, but what we can do for them.
Interesting. What is something that you would like to say to someone who may want to join Cinema Workshop?
Do it. You don't need to be an RTF major. You don't need to have like any experience going into it in order to have a good time. I know we have a lot of non-RTF majors, a lot of people who didn't have experience with video production. I was lucky to have had video experience in high school. I know that there's other people who didn't have that luxury, but if you come to Cinema Workshop, we'll teach you everything you need to know, and it's going to be a good time.
So I know you have one more year left here at ROWAN. What are your plans moving forward with CW?
Well, I'm not going to be the president next year. It's getting passed off to the overqualified Sean Walker. He's going to be very awesome. I don't know. I've got a lot of things that I still have on my checklist for CW. I want to direct a film. I want to maybe take up a little bit of acting. But whatever I do, I just really want to have fun.
And what is your favorite part about Cinema Workshop, or something you would tell students who may be interested in joining?
It's just fun to be part of a crew. You know, like part of a team with people that you know, people that you don't know, maybe some of your close friends, but you're all helping each other, and it's always towards like a common goal. And when you get to see the film on the big screen, I think it's very worth it to see every little thing that everyone contributed to it, and I think it's very fulfilling. So I would just recommend joining.
I have a couple more questions for you before we wrap up. Firstly, what has been the most challenging aspect of leading Cinema Workshop, and how do you overcome it?
I don't know. It's hard to keep people in check when they're your friends, you know, especially as the president of the e-board. We're all friends. But we overcame it together. It wasn't something that I did myself. When push came to shove, you know, we knew that we had to lock in, and we got the job done. So.
That's fantastic to hear, Parker. And finally, as you prepare to transition out of your role, what legacy or impact do you hope to leave on Cinema Workshop?
The films and the experience. We got a lot of good new members this year, and they're going to stick around and they're going to make the club great even after we're all gone. But I'm really happy with the films that we were able to make, and those are going to be remembered forever. So.
Very nice. I'd just like to once again thank everyone for joining us today and talk about their clubs. That is it for the club interviews for today. We still got some amazing stuff planned for today that we'd love for you guys to see.
Now it's time to turn our attention to something truly out of this world. Right here on Rowan's campus, we have Edelman Planetarium. It's just one of the many fun and exciting experiences here at Rowan University. Let's see what it's all about.
Planetarium, where the wonders of the universe come to life. By uncovering the passion and dedication behind its celestial exhibits, we can truly understand its significance here on Rowan's campus. One individual that makes the planetarium come to life is Amy Barraclaw, director of the planetarium.
The Edelman Planetarium's mission is to create a sense of wonder about the night sky, and we do this through community outreach, school field trips, public shows, and our observatory open house nights.
Since Amy became director, the Edelman Planetarium has seen tremendous growth, doubling annual attendance and increasing the public show schedule. The Edelman Planetarium has been named in numerous best of lists by South Jersey Magazine since 2017. Amy's dedication to the Edelman Planetarium doesn't end there. She's a passionate advocate for the next generation of students to explore the wonders of STEM fields. Her community outreach includes K-12 field trips and public shows offered here at the planetarium,
as well as daycares, youth-serving organizations like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Really, any homeschool, any type of group is welcome to schedule a private show in the planetarium.
Beyond Amy, there are others that have contributed to the success of the planetarium, one of those being David Klassen.
We took possession of the building in 2003. I think we started planning about 2 years before that, something like that. When we got the money, we got an architect and all of that. And at one of these planning sessions, somebody randomly said, hey, we should have a planetarium. I can't remember if it was me or Dr. Guerra, but it was one of us.
You said it was you.
I think it was me because as a graduate student at the University of Wyoming, we had a planetarium and I loved running it. So I said, we should have a planetarium. And that filtered its way up to the upper administration. I thought this was a great idea.
Dr. Klassen was one of the visionaries who shaped the Science Hall and Edelman Planetarium's foundations. Creating such immersive shows involves orchestrating every detail to provide an unforgettable experience. Public shows run on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. From school groups to families, the Edelman Planetarium sparks wonder and curiosity in audiences of all ages. As we continue to explore the wonders of the universe, think about coming here to the Edelman Planetarium, where the sky is never the limit.
Well, I never knew about the planetarium. I'm gonna have to check it out for myself and maybe bring some friends.
Speaking of friends, what are some of the places you like to hang out at on campus with friends, Jimmy?
Well, I like going to Rome Boulevard, which has a ton of different restaurants, like Mariachi, or even the Student Center to grab a bite and just hang out with friends.
Lucky for you, the next segment talks about the Student Center.
In the meantime, I just ordered Sono, so I'll be right back.
Well, I guess he's leaving, but for now, enjoy this clip of the Student Center.
On campus, the Student Center is a go-to spot for students to go grab a bite to eat. This ranges from burgers, hoagies, soups, ramen, and so much more. Jennifer Campbell is the marketing manager of Gourmet Dining, and she sat with us to discuss their goals and what the dining experience is all about.
We have our retail location, which is the marketplace, and all of our menus there are stationary. They're the same every day, but we switch it up monthly when we add in limited time offers, and we also work in things like our feel-good foods, which highlight a certain nutritional food every month, just to give a little bit of variety to everyone.
Once the expansion construction is finished, Props Place on the lower floor of the Student Center will reopen. Grill Nation and Jersey Mike's will also return to their original locations downstairs. With students ordering food every minute, wait times may form, ranging from a few minutes to potentially hours of waiting. This brings up the question that some students mentioned in interviews. They suggest options that hardly see orders with different, more sought-out ones, like Chick-fil-A, for example. Let's hear what students had to say about their experiences.
Actually, this is an unpopular. I would say this is more of an unpopular opinion, but I actually really like the food on campus. Depending on where it's from, I feel like there's like the good options and the bad options. So yeah. So I always go with the at Sono. They have the nachos. I always get the Sono nachos. It to a point where it's probably a problem at some points, but yeah, the Sono nachos.
I like the amount of options it has. I feel like it could be better in terms of offering more healthy options rather than tasty options, but that is just my opinion. I would have a little bit more variety in the food because I feel like there's too much American fare. I feel like having different cultural options other than Chef Jet and Sono would be good for the marketplace. Sometimes it underdelivers, but when it does deliver, it is pretty tasty, and it's always a pretty reliable place of eating because you have the same options kind of every day.
Sono was my favorite. Mexican food, I just really like it. Everybody keeps wanting a Chick-fil-A. That used to be a thing here on this campus, apparently. So I guess bring Chick-fil-A back. Why not?
Oh, I love it here. I think it's awesome. Everything here has been great. It's just been enjoyable. I mean, I like getting pasta. I like getting like chicken, rice, beans at Sono. They have a lot of great food. Jersey Mike's, obviously. It's really incredible here. I love coming here, especially when you're just walking here, coming from like the gym or something, or coming from class. You go and just stop by and get food, and you can just take it back, or you can eat there. So it's great. If there's one thing I would change, this is tough because I mean they have like a lot of good resources in there. Maybe they can be a little bit more creative because you can always improve. So that's probably like my only thing. Other than that, I mean, it's really good.
In an impromptu survey, students on average rated the food experience at the Student Center a 6.1 out of 10, with the lowest being a 3 and the highest being a 9. If you ever want to have your meal here at the Student Center, go download the Grubhub app and sign in with your student email to use meal swipes. If you don't want to download the app, don't worry, because there are self-serve kiosks right outside of the marketplace entrance.
I'm back. My Sono was mid, so I had to chuck it.
Interesting, but you know, Jimmy, these spaces aren't just to eat and hang out. They're the center of our campus community.
Yeah, very true. Whether you're studying for exams or attending events and meetings, the Student Center is where connections and memories are made.
I agree. As we wrap up today's show, we wanted to thank all of our interviewees and viewers for joining us today. And of course, we want to welcome you to join the exciting things we have going on in our campus community if you haven't already.
Thanks for tuning in today, everyone. I'm Jimmy Borgman.
And I'm Aiden Ray. Signing off from ROWAN exPLORE, goodbye and see you next time.